Hello everyone, today I am showing the Crossgate cable for the Renault UN1 Transaxle. This is the original Crossgate cable. It's quite long and in some people's cars it's worn even through the cable because there's contact with the interior tunnel of the chassis. These do work a little rough. There's a double clevis at this end, so it's kind of double jointed, and then there's a standard clevis at this end for connection to the mechanism to shift gears on the transaxle. In my particular application, I'm doing a GM LS4 engine to a UN1 Transaxle. This causes the transaxle to be moved forward 3 inches, which makes using the original cable, which is already long and difficult to work with inside the tunnel, even harder to work with because it's going to bind up and make it's just much more complicated. So I have this new cable. The action on this is much smoother, same distance of slide, a new clevis, and this is a spring loaded clevis, so you just drop it in, swing it around, it clamps in, much simpler than the original design. Of course, you'll thread it down and seat it on there. It has an adapter on here that allows the same diameter fitment as the original. You will use the same star washer and nut from your original on this because this can only thread so far, so the star washer takes up the additional space plus the wall thickness of the chassis at that point. This component is steel. When you receive this, I recommend you take it off, put in some anti-seize and thread it back on. I also recommend that for these first generation units, these are individually machined to a specific size. These are a standard size. The DeLorean's a non-standard size who made this adapter. These are unpainted. In the future, if we get enough orders of these will be zinc plated. In the meantime, the first orders of these, you'll need to paint these if you don't want them to rust, and you definitely don't want them to bind to this. Put some anti-seize on there and thread this, seat it all the way in, and you'll be just fine. You will transfer the original clevis from your the transmission end onto the new cable. That's going to be reused. They clean up nicely. They do very well. Your shift cable will come with 2 new nuts and a star washer. You will have to use your old fasteners on this end, but you can also buy new if you want. It'll come with this clevis, with this adapter, with this. And if you're not doing a engine swap, if your transaxle is staying in the same place it originally was, these are also available in the original length or slightly shorter, so there's less binding. These are much nicer. The action on these is much smoother. When this is installed, I highly recommend installing it to the transaxle first before installing the transaxle into the chassis. This is going to allow you to feed it through and put this through. You'll have to take this off, the clevis off, in order to feed it through the same hole, and there'll be a little bit of space there when it's not fastened on the inside, but when it's snugged in, the cable won't touch the wall of the transmission tunnel, and the fitment is going to be really quite nice. The action's going to be really smooth. You will either need to get someone in the passenger compartment to tighten this while you stick your arm through and hold it, or you remove your shifter mechanism, you pull that up, leaving the rods intact, and you just reach under there and tighten it. If you install this after the transaxle is installed into the chassis. It still can be done. You need to have at least a 2.5-inch circle cut in your frame to accommodate this. This will curve as it goes in to the mounting bracket. It is very important that when you snug these nuts down, that it makes solid contact and a perpendicular fitment to the mounting bracket. If there is movement in that, if these are not snug, the movement in this could affect the ability for this to pull and push in and out of reverse gear. This attachment point is pretty important for to make sure that the cable's not giving where this should be sliding through. So there it is. If you want the shortened version, which is was modified twice in order to fit without rubbing on the inside of the transmission tunnel, or if you want to replace your original shift cable or your crossgate cable because the old one is worn out and you want one with much smoother action, you can just order that through me, and I will get these to you. These are take a few different levels of machining, not just here, but on the cable itself. New clevis, new cable, new adapter, old clevis at this end, and star washer and nut from your original crossgate cable. So that is it. If you're interested in one of these, let me know. I'll put a link, or you can just contact me through Facebook or my YouTube channel. That's it. Thank you. Shift gears on the transaxle. In my particular situation, I moved the transaxle forward 3 inches, and other people who are doing engine swaps might be doing the same thing. This wind. Please, great spirit, calm the winds while I do this. Thank you. In my particular application, I'm doing